The crimson sand of Kepler 442b crunched beneath Marcus Chen's boots as he approached the towering obsidian spires of the Zephyrian capital. Behind him, two small figures stumbled through the alien landscape, their iridescent blue skin pale with exhaustion. The younger one, barely reaching Marcus's waist, clutched his hand with surprising strength for a 7-year-old Zephyrian child. "Are we almost there?" whispered Lyra, the older sister at 12, her violet eyes scanning the horizon nervously. Her bioluminescent markings flickered weakly, a sign of severe stress among her species. Marcus squeezed the smaller child's hand gently. "Yes, Nova. We're almost home." 3 days ago, Marcus had been conducting routine atmospheric surveys in the outer territories when he'd discovered the crashed escape pod. The two Zephyrian children inside were barely alive, their emergency beacon damaged beyond repair. According to Lyra's fragmented account, their transport had been attacked by raiders from the Corvan Empire, humanity's oldest enemies in this sector. The irony wasn't lost on Marcus. Humans and Zephyrians had been locked in a Cold War for nearly 2 decades, ever since first contact had gone catastrophically wrong. A misunderstanding during initial negotiations had resulted in the destruction of a human colony ship, killing 3,000 souls. The Zephyrian Queen Thessara had claimed it was an accident, but humanity's grief had crystallized into permanent mistrust. Now, as the palace guard's plasma rifles tracked his approach, Marcus wondered if he was walking into his own execution. "Halt!" The lead guard's translator crackled. "State your business, human." Marcus raised his hands slowly, feeling Lyra and Nova press closer behind him. "I'm returning something that belongs to your queen." The guard's mandibles clicked. "AI, sign of agitation. You carry no diplomatic credentials. Turn back or face—" "Lyra, Nova?" The voice that cut through the air was rich and melodious, carrying the harmonic undertones unique to Zephyrian royalty. Queen Thessara herself emerged from behind her guards, her towering 9-foot frame draped in flowing ceremonial robes. Her crown of living crystal pulsed with deep blue light, matching her skin's bioluminescent patterns. But it was her expression that stopped Marcus cold. The regal composure cracked like ice under pressure as her gaze fell upon the two small figures behind him. "My daughters," she whispered, the translator barely catching the words. The palace guards hesitated, their weapons wavering between Marcus and their queen. In that frozen moment, Marcus felt the weight of history pressing down upon them all. One wrong move, one misunderstood gesture, and the fragile peace between their species could shatter forever. Queen Thessara's guards aimed their weapons directly at Marcus's chest. Energy cells hummed with deadly intent. The queen herself stood motionless, her large eyes reflecting a storm of emotions. Joy, disbelief, and something else Marcus couldn't identify. "Stand down," she commanded her guards, though her voice trembled slightly. "Lower your weapons." "Your Majesty," the captain protested, "this could be a trick, a human deception." "I said stand down." The queen's bioluminescent patterns flared bright orange, the Zephyrian equivalent of shouting. The guards reluctantly complied, though their fingers remained near their triggers. Thessara took a hesitant step forward. How did you find them?" Marcus kept his voice steady, professional. "Their escape pod crashed in Sector 7. The beacon was damaged, but I managed to trace their life signs." He paused. "They told me about the Corvan attack on their transport." The queen's patterns shifted to deep purple, grief mixed with rage. "The transport was carrying my daughters to the outer colonies for their education. It was supposed to be secret, safe." Her gaze hardened as she looked at Marcus. "Why didn't you contact our authorities? Why bring them here yourself?" It was the question Marcus had been dreading. The honest answer would reveal just how badly relations between their species had deteriorated. "Because," he said slowly, "I wasn't sure your people would believe a human's word. And because—" He glanced down at Nova, who was still gripping his hand. "Because they were scared and hurt, and they needed to get home." Young Lyra stepped forward, her voice clear despite her exhaustion. "Mother, he saved us. The life support was failing, and I couldn't repair it. He shared his food, his water. He carried Nova when she was too tired to walk." Nova nodded enthusiastically, her fear forgotten in the presence of her mother. "He told us stories, human stories about brave explorers and kind giants. He made the scary noises go away at night." Queen Thessara's expression softened as she knelt to her daughter's level. "Is this true?" "Every word," Lyra confirmed. "Mother, he could have left us. He could have taken us prisoner. Instead, he spent 3 days making sure we were safe and bringing us home." The Queen rose slowly, her full attention now on Marcus. "You walked through Corvin-patrolled territory. You risked your life crossing the neutral zone. You brought my children home knowing you might be killed on sight." She paused. "Why?" Marcus met her gaze steadily. "Because they're children. Because fear and politics shouldn't trump basic decency. And because—" he took a breath. "Because maybe it's time someone tried to build a bridge instead of burning them down." For a long moment, the only sound was the wind whistling through the crystal spires. Then Queen Thessara stepped forward and placed her hand on Marcus's shoulder, a gesture of respect among Zephyrians. "You have given me back my greatest treasures," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "In return, I give you my word. This act of kindness will not be forgotten. Perhaps it is time for our peoples to remember what we could accomplish together, instead of what we've lost apart." As Nova ran to embrace her mother, Marcus felt something shift in the air around them. It was small, just one human and one alien queen finding common ground, but sometimes that's all it takes to change the galaxy. The guards lowered their weapons completely, and for the first time in 20 years, a human stood in the Zephyrian throne room not as an enemy, but as a friend.